Okay, this is my beautiful dress I bought, and you'll see it's got quite a fancy hem. On my 5'3" height, it definitely needs reducing, but I don't want to lose this lovely fringe at the bottom. It's a maxi dress, so I've decided I need to hem it, and I need to take a section up there or there so that I don't lose this beautiful hem. So I've started to pin it here. I'm going to show you inside. Okay, you'll see how I've pinned it there. Okay, to take this up at the next layer, you'll see all I'm doing really is pinching a section up and pinning it. You will need to lay it out and measure it to get the best, most accurate result, but you get the idea. You basically going to measure it. I'm going to lay it down flat and measure it, but basically it's pulling a section up and pinning, and you'll see just there's a stitching line. That's where I'm going to pin it, because on this dress I've also got a fancy little sparkly section at the point where I'm altering it, and I don't want to sew onto that. So I'm going to lay it out and show you how to do it. And bear in mind as well, sometimes these are not stitched exactly level in the manufacturing process. See how that looks. It's the best bit of just pinning it. You can just alter it as you go. Once I've pinned it all, I'll try it on. The idea is to try and make this process into something that people feel they can have a go at. Of course, once you've sewn a garment you bought, you're committed to it. You're committed to buying it. You can't kind of change your mind. So make sure it's a dress you really like, really love. I really love this one. It's just too long. Right. Let's see. No, I don't think that's quite right just there. Stitching's all over the place on this one, so I might have to just adjust that a bit. Let's get the 2.5 centimetres in here. I might have to adjust it on the body. Right, so now it's time to tack this. Normally I'd pin and then I'd sew, but because we need this hem to be like we're taking this up so that we've got this little decorative trim right on the edge of where we're doing it. You see, that's where my hemline is. That's where I'm taking it up, just there. I need it to be kind of right on the edge of there. So instead of just pinning, which I'll show you the pins, this is all the pins. I've got it pinned, but then I'll start kind of tacking it, or a bit of hand sewing with a contrasting thread so that I can remove it afterwards. So I've got a pink thread. And you'll see where I've pinned, in between pins, I've tacked it. And the occasional couple of tacking stitches, and then back a stitch and then tack again, just to secure it. And then on the outside, this is what I want it to look like. I'm doing this, and then obviously I'll sew it with my machine. So on the outside, it's going to look like that. See the seam there? That's where it'll be, right on the edge of this trim here. And then we'll deal with all this extra fabric afterwards of where I've hemmed it. Oh, you can see the stitching there, better look. That's the tacking. So I'll show you what I'm doing. Basically, it's a bit of a faff. This is a little bit of a faff, but you see, that's where my next pin is. Now, I want to make sure I tack it exactly on that edge, exactly on the edge of that trim. So I hold it up. I don't know if you can, make sure you can just see. So what I'm doing is holding this just where I want to sew it. There's my tacking thread. A bit fiddly. Just get your fingers in there. Press it in where you want it sewn. Like that. And then turn it over. I've got that bit okay. Then I want that next bit, you see. So let's just turn it over. What I'm going to do is just a couple of stitches like that, and just check you've got it, that when if you sew it like that, that's going to be correct. It's a lot of faffing now, but if you faff now, it'll be better afterwards. It's hard to see what I'm doing with the camera in the way, but still. Now, let's have a look. Have I got that right? Oh, no, that's just catching onto the edge of there. Can you see? It's just catching on the end of the trim. So I can't just sew it there. It's got to be back a little bit. So let's just try it like this. I know it's a faff, I know. But it'll be worth it when we've done it. When I've done it. Like that. And then let's have a look on the other side. Just find it. There's the stitch. Okay. Oh, I haven't caught it in. I haven't caught the other side in. Okay, back we go. Silly me. Don't worry if you don't knots up a bit. Doesn't really matter. Just undo the knot. Okay, let's go again that bit. Right, so we're holding it, oops, off the camera, sorry. We're holding it there. I'm going to try and I'm going to just stitch there. There's my, see my other pin's a long way away. I could put another pin in here, which might make it a bit easier, to be honest, than trying to do it like this, but I'll go with it, just see. Right, let's have a look on the other side now. That's not worked. I'll put a pin, add an extra pin. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I'll stitch that. So let's pull the thread through then and have another look. I can always stitch back over it if it's not quite right. Just need a little place for me, a little guide for me to stitch, because I do not want to be undoing sewing machine stitching. So I'm better off faff now. Now it is out a tiny bit, I think. Let's see. That's better. Just pull it in a bit tighter. Yeah, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. It's right on the edge. So now the next bit. Let's pull that next bit in now. It's just there. Turn it over to the underneath. I'm getting the cotton all tied up. Let's see. Right, so let's have a little go. There, like that. Might be better to put a pin in properly, but I'm faffing, I know, faffing. And it is a bit of a faff, it's just the tacking. Get the tacking right, and that's it. It'll be fine after. Okay, that looks all right. So what I want to do now is stitch over it. Might just go back a stitch and just check that that's okay on that side again. Might need to come in a bit more. Oh, I think it'll be all right. That bit. Okay. I think that's okay. My camera's in the way of seeing what I'm doing. Okay. Let's see. And the next bit. And the next bit. Right. I should really pin this. It would be easier, I'm sure it would be easier if I just pin this bit, extra pin in there. Where's my sewing? Oh, there's a bit of sewn. Way back there. No, I've caught the other fabric in, have I? Caught the fabric in there, silly me. Take that out. That's better. Yeah, that's okay. Just need to do that bit there. Okay, you get the idea. Get the idea of what we're doing. So, what we're going to end up with, we're going to end up with a line of stitching all the way, a line of tacking all the way along like this. Which if I turn it to this side, you'll see better. this kind of fabric, you can kind of you have to make sure you don't kind of pull any tucks into it. So we're doing that, and you'll see some places the fabric I've got more depth than others, and this is simply because this dress, when you put it on, the sides are longer. They come nearer to the ground than the front and the back, or they did originally. So how I've hemmed it is so that it's just straight. How I'm cutting it off, how I'm taking it up is so it's just straight right across. So the bits where I'm at the side, you'll find that I've got a bit more fabric, but you won't see it after when I've completed it all. So okay, I'll come back to you when I've done a bit more. Okay, so now we're looking at tacking this this dress, tacking the bit up that I'm taking, the bit that I want to decrease the hem by. Now you'll see I'm doing it in pink cotton. That's so that we can see it, and it'll be easy to take out once I do the machine stitching. But basically, I've got it pinned. Let me just zoom out slightly so you can see. I've got it pinned. Okay, so we've pinned this so that we've pinned the amount up that I need to take up for the length. And as I said, I need to make sure I didn't sew in this little trim here. Taking it up between tiers of the dress. So basically I want the finished look to be like this, so that the hem is, the bit that I've took up is there. Can you see that bit? It's hidden, it'll be hidden, it'll be right against the trim. So you won't actually see that I've taken it up by this amount inside. Where is it? This amount. You won't see that I've taken it up. And some bits I've taken it up more than this because the dress actually wasn't level at the bottom. It comes down at the sides and up in the middle slightly. So because I'm hemming it up, I'm able to reduce the hem. I'm actually making it straight all the way around. Because the way it's designed is that the elastic under the waist, under the bust, slopes down to your waist, which takes it down a bit on the sides, at the bottom of the hem, at the sides, which is great if you're tall, but when you're small, the sides trail on the floor. So anyway, I'm taking the whole thing up, hemming it all up. So as I said, I've pinned it, and now I'm tacking it. Now the important thing with the tacking is to make sure that you're not sewing in that bit of trim on the other side. So what I'm doing, I'll put the needle in for a few stitches like that, and then I'm going to have a look to see what it's like on the outside. Make sure that it's not hemming it, taking in that trim. Okay, it is very slightly just on the end, so just take the last stitch out like that. Okay, right, let's have a look. Now let's have another look. If I go to there, what's that look like? Where is it? That's stitched. Okay, where is it? There we are. Yeah, it's okay, that hasn't caught it in. Okay, And the next bit is to just remove that pin and carry on where that pin was. Kind of stabbing in the dark slightly. I've took it out. I find this is the best way of doing it. Oh, I'm a little bit out, aren't I? Just a bit. It takes a little bit of time, but it's worth doing the time on this tacking, because if your tacking isn't right, when you stitch it, the stitching isn't going to be right, and then it's much harder to undo the stitching than it is tacking. The stitching will be quite quick. Yep, that looks all right. And the extra fabric that I've got left, I will cut that off and sew it all up with an overlocking type stitch or hem it. Okay, let's have a look. So we need to pull that in a bit so it's tight. It's fine. And then do the next bit. Let's see. Holding it wrong. Right, let's see what it looks like if I go to there, to where the pin is. Take the pin out. I don't need it now. I've got this secured with the stitches. Right, let's just take it down a bit. You can feel where the pin is, and it's there. It's right on the edge. That's okay though. That's not bad at all. Feel like I might have caught it in just there. Let's just see. It's took me, yeah, I've caught it in. It's took me about an hour to stitch around this dress. To stitch, you know, to tack it. But that's not bad. I'm fine with that. It's just finding an hour to sit with nobody in where I can do this is tricky. I've still caught the edging. But you get the idea. You get the idea. Right, so I need to come back a bit on myself. It'll be well worth it. I love this dress. Love this dress. When I saw it, I went to Fashion Week in London, and I saw this dress on the model, and she was tall, leggy. I thought, oh, well, that rules me out. I'm not going to be able to use that, to wear that. But then when it came in stock with the company, I thought, well, I'm just going to order it and see what it's like. And when it came, it felt so nice to wear, to put on. I thought, right, what can I do? How can I alter this? Because I wanted it. See, I've caught it in there. That's okay. Take that back out. So, yeah, so that's why I looked at how I could do it. And then I posted a picture on the website, and got like a little group going on where we post when we bought the sport things and how they look on us. And when I posted it, said, this is what I'm going to do. Some of the ladies were like, oh dear, that's brave, that's going to be brave. But I thought, you know what, we're not ideal heights, we're not ideal shapes. Most of us are not happy with how we look, and it stops us buying things because things don't look right. But if we can do simple little alterations, have a go. I wouldn't say this is simple. It is if you've done things before, because you've got the confidence to just do it. But if you take it step by step, it is simple. So I'll just show you that, you know, it is simple. You've got to have patience, a bit of patience with it. But if you want the dress, you'll do it. You'll do it. What I would say is, don't cut anything off until you are absolutely 100% you've got it how you want it. Because once you've cut it off, it's a bit more difficult to put it back on. But the idea is that I get more women to feel a bit more confident in sewing and being able to alter things to make them fit. I learned to sew in school, and it was one of those things that, you know, I just took to, but everybody doesn't. Okay. I'm really pleased with this. Now, I haven't sewn it yet. This is just tacked. But you see how I've got the seam coming right along the edge of this trim. If you haven't got a trim on there, it's not such a problem then. But then, you know, this is quite a nice guide really as to where to sew. So on the inside, you'll see the bit I've took up is there. See the tacking. And as I said, it's different. Some of it's quite thick where I've took it up because this dress tends to come down at the sides. See the stitching? So if I hold that out, you'll see I've got this wad of material that I've took up. That's kind of bulky in the middle. So what I'm going to do, it's like all along. If I show you on the back section, you'll probably see that a bit better. So this is inside the dress. On the inside of the dress, that same level, this is what that fabric looks like, that extra fabric. So this is what I've took up. So you'll see at the front, I've took about, 2.5 inches up. But then as it goes further round, the amount gets to be a bit more. Okay, so at the sides, it's about, how much have I took up? About about 4 inches, maybe a bit more at the sides. But all I've done is follow this trim line. So what I'm going to do next is sew this on my machine. And I'll show you that as I'm sewing it. And then I'll show you what it's like on. Right, you'll see I'm just following this little pink line of tacking with the machine, and then I'll see what I've got, see how it's turned out. You could actually choose to do it, sew it all by hand. If you haven't got a sewing machine, you could do this by hand. You just have to use small neat stitches. Nearly at the end now. Can't wait to wear this. Love this dress. Oops, knocking the phone. Right, I'm just going to here. And I think I'm at the end. Let's just check. Just check. Oh, let's take it out. Right, let's have a little look. Make sure I've got to the end. I'll cut all these little threads off afterwards. trim them off. It looks okay, I'm quite happy with that. Yep, that looks okay. Okie dokie. Next thing is, I'm just going to check it, and then I'm probably going to cut off the excess. Okay, it'll be a case of just snipping it here and there, and then undoing all the tacking. It's all sewn fine. Then I'll cut the fabric off. Over the years, I've procrastinated so much about things like this. I've bought stuff and that I've really loved, and I've thought, oh, I'll alter that, knowing I could do it. But getting time is another thing. So even now I find it difficult because although I've got more time than I used to have, and I find I get little pockets of time where I've got so much I want to get done that I don't get to do a lot of the things I want to do. Anyway, that's the idea. Get your tacking out because you don't want pink stitches showing through or any other colour. Okay, I've got most of the tacking thread out. I did have to sew just the odd little bit that was not quite level, but nothing much, so that's fine. So the next thing is to cut this excess fabric off. Let me just check that I'm happy with that. Yep. Right, here goes. Not going back now. Might be better to start on a side seam to do this, really. These scissors aren't great. Right, I'm just going to leave about 1/2 inch, I think. I'm holding it up so I've got the piece of fabric up because I don't want to make the mistake of cutting the flipping dress. And I need to leave just enough so I can turn it in. To hem it, tidy it up a bit. These scissors aren't great. Considering I haven't got great scissors, but then I don't sew very often these days. I hope to change that. Right, let's see, we've got that far. Now, cut through this. Quite narrow here. Long, so I've got enough to turn it in. Right, I'm going to carry on doing that, and then I'll come back to you when I've cut it all off. But you get the idea. We're going to end up with this little bit of a raw kind of edge, untidy edge here, which I'm going to sew. My machine does fancy stitches and stuff, but I'm literally going to take it in like that, and I might zigzag on top of it. That's it. Right, so what I've decided to do is to get this edge and just turn it over like this, and zigzag over it. And that should be fine. It will stop it fraying, but not add too much bulk. So let's see how that goes. Have a little go and see if we can see how that goes. Just turn it under as I go. I haven't allowed much fabric for this really, but it's okay. I trimmed the fabric further on the edge. Let's have a look. Yeah, that looks okay. That's neat enough. Neat enough. I'll come in and show you properly in a minute. So I'm just turning it under. I was going to turn it in on itself, so it's like an enclosed seam, but I trimmed it too far for that. So it's a case of either zigzag the edge or turn the edge over slightly and zigzag. So that's what I'm doing. It should work fine. Okay, I'll come back to you in a minute when I've done that. Okay, that's all stitched. A bit messy with all the bits of cotton at the moment, but I will trim all those off. And I've just covered in the, sewn in the edge. I've gone all the way around and then realised my bobbin had run out. But that's okay, that's all. You can see. Kind of sewn it all in, so that should be fine. All on the outside, looks like that. So I'm going to press it. I mean, you can see there is a bit of a gap. It's not right in the end, but that's okay. When I've pressed that, that will be fine. It's like that all the way along, so that's fine. Not perfect, but that will be lovely. So I'm going to try the dress on and show it you.